Hmm. So what we're going to do here. Are you struggling as a new project manager? Let me guess. If you are, you're feeling overwhelmed by constant pressure, doubting whether you're actually going to be able to lead your team to success. What if I told you exceptional project managers have faced the same challenge and they overcome them by mastering a couple key transformational strategies? Wait a minute, before you take the towel and throw it in, let me ask you a question. Are you using pressure to push forward, or is it holding you back? And if you're letting fear stop you from being successful and not taking action, can you use those mistakes and embrace them as you grow? In today's episode, I will be addressing some key issues as well as proposing some solutions. Let's get into today's work here. I really think this is going to be special for everybody, so I won't hold you with no further ado. Let's jump into it. Here we go. So, overcoming point number one, overcome imposter syndrome. You know, every time I do an episode around imposter syndrome, I get a lot of positive feedback. And it lets me know that I am not in, as they would say, a crowd alone. What do you mean by that? Many new project managers feel they are not qualified for the role, doubting their abilities and feeling like they do not belong. How many times have you've taken on a new role? I don't care if it's project management or being a project manager or a project coordinator, etc. But you started doubting your abilities. A lot of times we doubt our abilities because of the fact of we don't know if we're capable enough. Let me tell you a quick short story. I always say that, when you make a decision to get in this thing that I love, that I hope you fall in love with, called project management, I don't care if you're a new project manager or a seasoned project manager. Anytime you take on a project, you're going to experience some doubt. But see, seasoned project managers understand that that doubt is limited. Here we go. So I'm taking on a new project at a new organization, and I'm super excited because again, I'm wanting them to show them that yes, you made a great decision, a great decision in hiring me and bringing me on board. And as soon as I get in there, imposter syndrome starts to kick in. It says, "Well, you know that you shouldn't be doing this. You know there is probably somebody better that can be doing this role. And all of a sudden, all of this self-negative talk starts talking to me, and I had to take a moment and say, where is this coming from? What is happening? Who is creating this information? And it's me. There's nothing external. It doesn't matter what someone said about me at a previous role. It doesn't matter what they're saying about me here, except for the fact of, and then when I say saying about me, meaning that they're doubting me already, and there shouldn't be any doubt because I haven't done anything yet. So a lot of times when new project managers get in place, they start having this doubting aspect, and no one externally has said anything. It's an imposter syndrome because maybe they believe, I can't believe that I'm here, or this is impossible. Like, why they chose me? They made a decision on me. So here's some actionable advice. Recognize that imposter syndrome is normal. Like I said, I don't care if you are a brand new project manager or a seasonal project manager. And I know a lot of seasonal project managers won't admit this, but drop them into a new organization and say, here's your project. And I promise you, they're not just gonna they're gonna have some thoughts, they're gonna have some doubts. But the thing about what seasoned project managers do, family, and I want you to understand, is how they course correct. Again, having that ability to course correct, what does that look like? Focusing on small wins, reminding yourself that you have been selected for this role because of your capability. And that's how seasoned project managers push through overcoming imposter syndrome. So I hope that works for you, my new project managers. All right, let's move on to point number two, message. Now, I hesitated about talking about this because I am a huge, and I do mean huge, fan of the CAPM, the PMP. as well as the ACP, which I'm eventually going to get the ACP. And what typically happens is when someone has a CAPM or a PMP, automatically they think they're more knowledgeable than others, especially experienced professionals. How do I know this? Because I actually went through the journey myself. Yeah, I'm gonna be very transparent with you. Yeah, I thought, oh, I got my CAPM. Yeah, I noticed project management stuff, and then real world project management hit me, and I was like, oh, I wasn't prepared for that. You see, what the CAPM or the PMP does for you, it helps set, or I should say, establishes the foundation. Just like a house, when you build a house, it has to have a good foundation. But everything that is built on top of that, and this is why I want to let you guys know, even with the PMP, you're required for 60 PDUs. PDU stands for professional development units. CAPM is 15 professional development units every 3 years. So, yes, you got certified. Congratulations. But a lot of times what happens is when people get certified, they stop the journey. Mhm. They say, oh, well, I'm certified. I know more than you do. Because look, PMI has told me I'm certified. And that's why I love PMI, because they said, no, 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 no. The journey doesn't end. It's just beginning. Ooh, I like that, family. You know why I like that is because a lot of times we want to not continue on the journey because we believe, or we have a perception that we have reached the destination, and we haven't. The journey is just beginning. And because the journey is just beginning, it's just simply saying is, what is the actionable advice? Well, you use your certification as a foundation, and you're still humble enough to be open to learning from others. And the most very important piece of this is continue to seek more hands-on experience, regardless of your certification status. I don't care if you have a PMP or not. I don't care if you have a CAPM or not. I don't care if you have an ACP or not. You want to continue to get that hands-on experience. And because what I really truly feel is a PMP, a CAPM, ACP, you name the certification, it's a watch this, family. It's like a cherry on top of a cake. Because what it's saying is that, yes, I've done the work to get and obtain the certification, but I'm also willing to do the work to, this is getting good to me, to sustain and maintain the certification in a way that I can actually continue to grow through hands-on experience. Because if we really look at it, and I know I'm spending a lot of time here, family, because I've watched this, I've gotten emails, I've gotten I know what tends to happen. People stop the journey because they got certified. And so we have to ensure that when you get certified, that you continue to grow. Do not stop growing. Okay, I'll stop and move on to point number 3. Point number 3, pay for a mentor. Message. If you're new to this episode or any episodes, anytime I say message, this is a point you want to pay attention to. You want to lock in, and you may be looking at something else. I'm just asking you to pay attention and listen. Family, one of the things I've watched when I started going through my career in project management, I was going through it alone. I didn't have a specific project manager mentor. I had a mentor in business and life, but not in the niche, the craft that I was doing. And both are extremely important. That's why I told you I have an advisory council. Shout out to Phil. Shout out to Byron. These are my advisory council when we talk through things. And having a mentor provides you valuable insight, support, and guidance. Actionable advice. Seek out a mentor within or outside your organization. Family, I'm going to be honest with you. If it was me, if I had to do this thing all over again, I have no regrets. But right away, I would have sought out a mentor outside of my organization, not inside. And I would regularly discuss the challenges that I'm having and the lessons learned. Why would you want to pay for a mentor? This is why. You're using their experience to navigate difficult situations with more confidence. That's it. It's that simple. I mean, yes, we can go over Microsoft Project Management, but you can look that up on YouTube or listen to a podcast or whatever. Yes, we could go over Smart Sheets. Yeah, you could, but the experience where they're being very candid with you and very transparent with you is something that is going to help you long term, because Microsoft Project can continue to change. And yes, you can continue to run into issues or problems, yet having that mentor that you're paying for versus a mentor that you're not paying for, that mentor is just as invested as you are, meaning that they want to see your success. They want to see you win. They believe in you so much, especially when you get somebody like a Phil as a project mentor. He is pushing, he is guiding, he is showing you not the, because a lot of people look for shortcuts. It's not about the shortcuts, it's about, okay, how do I get through this, or either or around it, but we have to make it through this and not just survive. We want to live in this thing that I love, that I hope you fall in love with, called project management. So again, family, you're paying for the experiences, and wisdom is always going to outweigh anything. I will put that up against anything, especially in this thing called project management. All right, let's move on to point number 4. Trust the journey of being a project manager. Listen, there are going to be ups and downs in project management. You're going to question, why did you choose this profession? Okay, maybe I'm talking about me. You're going to question, do I have the abilities? Okay, maybe I'm talking about me. You're going to question, you know what, man, if that guy says one more thing, I promise you, okay, I'm sorry, maybe this is a little bit too transparent. But no, seriously though, family, you want to be able to, as a new project manager, you're going to face failures early and often. And all I ask of you is, don't get so discouraged that you give in and you give up. Here's my actionable advice. Ensure both the success and the setbacks are opportunities for growth. Every project presents learning opportunities. Focus on learning and improving with each project. I always tell you, when you get started off as a new project manager, you need to get a notebook. You can order it for, you can go to, if there's a dollar store close to you, go to the dollar store. If there's, you got Amazon, get a notebook and take notes. When you take notes of some of your failures, some of your setbacks, some of your success, then you use and I haven't went in this. I may even just do a whole episode on this, of how I started documenting my successes and wins and failures, so I know how did I come out of that failure and how I didn't. So if that's something you want me to do, let me know. Um, Understand the resilience and adaptability are key to long-term success in project management. Again, if you choose this thing called project management, this is a career. A career doesn't happen in 24 hours. Oh, you don't like that? He's being very disrespectful. Okay, a career doesn't happen in one day, 2 days, or a week, or a month. It's longevity. So to have longevity, you have to be resilient and you have to be adaptable. All right, let's move on to point number 5. Learn to use pressure to move forward. Pressure is inevitable in project management. I wish I can tell you will not feel pressure. What do you mean by that, ED? Great question, family. I'm glad you asked. You're going to get pressure from your stakeholders. You're going to get pressure from executives. You're going to get pressure from your project team. You're going to receive a lot of pressure, but don't get overwhelmed. Don't let pressure push you. I feel like I was going to go in the Matrix. You remember, if you haven't seen the Matrix, where Neo did that real cool thing, and he was okay. But anyway, I digress. But the whole point of it is that you need to learn how to leverage that pressure. Here's my actionable advice: channel pressure into focus. Break down these overwhelming tasks into small, manageable actions. Use the pressure as motivation to move forward, not as an obstacle that holds you back. See, a lot of times we don't talk about that last point of using the pressure to motivate you. We talk about how the pressure demotivates us. But when you switch your mindset, when you switch how you view and how you look at things, you say, okay, well, this is happening. How am I going to do this? Okay, we got this big, all these tasks. Okay, let me break them down into more manageable pieces. All right, let me focus in and lock in on and keeping the main thing. The main thing. Yep, I know all of this going on is chaos. I will get there in a moment, but let me stay focused. Let me stay aligned, and let me use this obstacle as an opportunity to grow. All right, let me move on to my next point. Point number 6, Allow conflict to happen, but know when to intervene. A lot of new project managers kind of just don't understand this whole conflict aspect of things, because conflict is going to happen on your project. And sometimes you try to avoid it at all costs so you can suppress the important issues. See, I always talk about when I'm leading a project and I start noticing a lot of conflict, I'm getting to the root. What most people do was try to address the surface layer, and that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't do anything, because all of a sudden something else will pop up. So addressing the root cause, checking the root cause, and by managing conflict for new project managers, I have to be honest, it is going to be tricky. It's going to be a learning lesson, because how you handle conflict on this project with this project team and these stakeholders may be different. No, it ain't. There will be no may. It will be different how you handle it on the next project or in the next organization, etc. So it's important that when you learn how you had to deal with conflict from project team members or stakeholders, again, document how you handled that. Here's my actionable advice. Understand when conflict is productive and when it's destructive. For minor conflicts, let the teams work things out. For significant conflicts, schedule one-on-one calls to address the root cause and propose a solution. All right, let's move on to point number 7. Escalate with a proposed solution, not just a problem. As you've seen in the last thing we talked about in 6, I talked about a root cause with a proposed solution. Here, this is a challenge that I've watched a lot of new project managers deal with, is where they don't know when to escalate and when not to escalate. I'm going to say this: you are the leader of that team. And if you are continuously to escalate and you don't have a proposed solution, I promise you they're going to start asking questions. Why do we have this resource here? But if you're experiencing issues and you're not getting what you need, and you went through the proper channels, meaning you set up a one-on-one with the team member or the stakeholder that the issue is happening, you documented that conversation, you sent it out, you guys had an agreement, a proposed solution was agreed upon, they didn't answer it, you follow up again by having a meeting. Then at that point, now you're escalating. And now when you escalate, you talk to whether it's their direct manager or executive, whatever that escalation path is that has been designed for you. Then you know that you've done everything possible, and you're even going to propose another solution. Because I get it. Sometimes you don't understand, why is this person not answering the email, and now you want to escalate. But there are certain tactics that you can do to be able to resolve that. And one of the things, if you're sending an email to somebody and they're not answering, put their manager on the email, CC their manager. Now you don't CC their manager. Now let's see what happens. If the manager doesn't say anything, and very exceptional managers and leaders, what they will do when they're CC'd on an email, they're going to scroll down and look in the email correspondence to see how many. Let me see what the back and forth is. And if they don't see a response from their direct report, an exceptional leader or manager is going to go to their direct report and say, "Hey, Ed has been emailing you and I don't see you responding. Could you expound on what is going on here?" Here's my actionable advice. When escalating an issue, always present one or two possible solutions. And my last and final one: show initiative and help decision makers take action more effectively. Point number 8: interview or shadow other project managers. One of the things that I do even to this day, if I was to go to a new organization, I would go shadow other project managers. I would even interview them as well. Because it's one thing to lead a project, but it's another thing to lead a project in an organization. I think I just said something. Maybe I'm talking too fast. Let me slow it down. There's one thing to lead a project, but there's another thing to lead a project in an organization. I know what you're thinking. Well, ED1, aren't you leading a project in an organization? Yes, you are. But see, you can have an amazing skill set in leading a project that you've led, that and you take that same information and you're leading it in this new organization, and they have different rules and regulations, some visible and some non-visible. So you need to go and shadow or interview or a combination of both to understand the organization of people that have been there. Here's my actionable advice: arrange informational interviews or shadow sessions with the experienced project managers. What does that look like? Reach out to them. Hey, I would love to know if I could shadow you in your next team meeting. That simple. If they say, well, no, I don't, I've never heard anyone tell me no about me shadowing, because to them, this is an ego boost in a sense, like, hey, I really want, you could have chosen any project manager, but you chose me. So yes, if somebody reached out to me, a junior or even a senior project manager or a program manager reached out and said, hey, I've been hearing good things about how you've been leading your meeting. Do you mind if I sit in? Not a problem. I don't even care if they have an alternative motive. I'm still going to deliver on the things that I was going to deliver if they were there or not. So don't be shy about reaching out. Point number 2, observe their leadership style. How do they handle difficult situations? And you'll catch that in those weekly meetings or being on a email correspondent to see how they respond to that. And then model how they structure their day. I didn't say still, I said model. There's a difference. Modeling is, what can I take pieces from to fit my personality, to fit how I want to lead a particular project, and create that. Here's my 3 transformational recommendations that we've kind of discussed, but these are the 3. If you don't remember anything else, family, these are my top 3 transformational recommendations for new project manager. Overcome imposter syndrome. You have to remind yourself you've been selected for this role because you're capable. And because you believe you're capable, and because you know you're capable, walk in there and be proud, but not proud that you won't be willing to learn anything. Pay for a mentor. I can't say this more. You see, I didn't say get a free mentor. Mm-mm. Pay for mentorship. Use their, because again, like I stated, using their experience to navigate difficult situation will build your confidence up. People are going to be like, damn, what course are you taking? What are you doing? What are you reading? That's what you want. Last and final transformational idea: don't assume certification equals mastery. Stay humble, fam. I am so humble. I have degrees on degrees and certifications on certification, but I am humble enough to be open to learn from others. I don't care where they're at in what you say the rankings. They could be a project coordinator. I'm willing to learn. They could be a business analyst. I'm willing to learn from them. And I mean, when I say willing to learn, I'm taking notes and I'm asking questions, because that's how obsessed I am with it. And that's what I want you to understand, family. You have to be humble and open to learn. And then last and final transformational recommendation: continue to seek hands-on experience regardless of the certification status. Well, family, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'm over here sweating for you. This is a good sweat. I mean, there was a what was it, sweating to the oldies, but that's how I feel right now. But it's all good. I hope, seriously, family, hope there's something you can take away. Just don't listen or watch these episodes. My goal, my job, my mission is that you take this information and apply it. I'll give you tonight the thinking over, but tomorrow I need you to take action. I go by the name of ED. For all you smart and intelligent folks out there, that just simply means it. Until next time.